Mondays, baby. We here. And if this is your first time visiting Mental Push-Up Mondays, I'd like to say, welcome to you. This vlog is all about personal growth and development, just like that tree in the background. And we understand that growth can be challenging, but in order for us to have our most authentic and best lives, it starts with us first being our best and authentic person. So let's jump right into it. The title of today's message is, yup, I'm about to talk about it, the F word. And so I'm sure you're saying, what the crap is the F word? Well, there's multiple. Yes, there are. But the one that we're going to talk about today is failure. We're going to talk about failure, failing our way to success. Okay, so this message is inspired by a few things, actually. So the first thing was that I've been working on trying to be more disciplined with my time. And I have about 3 planners to help me stay on track. So those of you wonder why I'm late, that's why I'm late, because I'm struggling managing my time. But anyways, no, I'm just making an excuse right there, but for real. So I'm trying to learn to be more disciplined with my time. And so I made this one simple tweak today. I decided that it may be a good idea for me to carry the planner with me everywhere I go so that I can stay on track with what I need to do. And that's like a duh, right? Yes, keep the planner with you. That's a good idea. But I just thought about it. I said, man, I failed 1,000 days trying to do this. I have some good days, some bad days, but that one simple thing changed everything. I said, you know what? Failure is a part of success. So that may help me, but then there may be something else to help me be more successful. So that was the first thing. But then I thought about, in general, as we grow up, and then some of the connotation in our society around mistakes and failures, like you look on the news, somebody make a mistake, they highlight it, and they say, oh, this person did this, and then so they also, they act like it's like a bad thing, right? And some of the things people do, yeah, they are bad, but it almost creates a negative connotation around making mistakes and failing. And then I thought about, like, even as we grow up, you make a bad grade or you get in trouble, you do something you're not quote unquote supposed to do, you're gonna get on punishment, you're gonna get a whooping, something like that. And so it's almost like it creates the idea that we shouldn't make mistakes or that it's something wrong when we do fail. However, failure is actually an opportunity for us to learn, and it's actually a very positive thing depending on if we shift our perspective. So here are my thoughts around the F word, failure, and it's a huge part of us succeeding. So I was in this training a couple weeks ago, and shout out to all my emerging leaders, baby. We getting in there and doing them real deal push-ups. But anyway, so we were in this training, and so they have this quote on the board that says, if you have never failed, then you have never lived. Ooh, sit with that one time. Digest that. If you have never failed, you have never lived. And that's a really powerful quote, because I think the first thing is that we have to embrace that failure is a part of life. If you're human, you're going to make mistakes. At some point, you are going to fail. But I'd like to add to that failure, we are not our failures and we are not our mistakes. Considering that we know that everyone is going to make mistakes, we're all going to fail, we're going to have to give ourselves permission to do that, because we know that it's going to happen. Everybody gonna make mistakes. And so to add to that, the permission comes from us checking in with the story that we tell ourselves. So for me, this is my vulnerability, is that it's hard for me to embrace mistakes sometimes. It's hard for me to fail. Like, it's challenging. I literally, I tend to, really go hard on myself. Like, I beat myself up when I make mistakes. Sometimes I be like, oh, I can't believe I did that. So I literally have to do my mental push-ups and talk myself out of that. Sometimes just saying, okay, this happened, which leads to point number 2. Once we recognize that we understand we're going to make mistakes, it's going to happen, we've given ourselves permission, oh, wow, I made a mistake. What can I learn from it? What is the silver lining in this? What is it that I need to learn? And this is huge, because I used to believe that, okay, I made a mistake, I'm just gonna say I'm sorry, and that's gonna be it. But I never took inventory and said, well, wait a minute, Dre, what do you need to learn from this? Like, what is it that you need to get from this to help you move forward in a different way? And so if I really think about it, when we talk about failing and make mistakes, We actually learn the most when we do make mistakes. And whenever I think about mistakes and failure, I swear I think about my first year as a classroom teacher. I promise you, I learned everything that I learned so much. I did a lot of learning that year because there's a lot of things I just didn't know. So this last point is go full out. And so going full out is playing to win and not to lose, and really just taking risks. So sometimes what we may do is, because we're so afraid of making mistakes, or we don't want to fail, and we're like, well, I want to start this business, but what if it doesn't work, or things like that, we play it safe. And I think that really speaks to Jim Collins' quote, good is the enemy of great. Yes, this is okay, this is fine, but what happens is when we're unwilling to take risks and we're not really going hard and going after things we want because we're afraid of mistakes, is that we create a life of mediocrity. And success, it really comes from us taking the risk, because we understand when we take the risk, understand when you move beyond a level that is comfortable for you, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to do it, but you are going to fail your way until you get to the level that you want to get. So let's wrap this thing up in a nice little bow. Number one, embrace and own. Hello, everyone is going to fail. We're all going to make mistakes. It's a part of life. But then secondly, what do I need to learn from that mistake? It's not an indictment on me as a person just because I failed or I made a mistake. And I think also in some parts of that we can also show compassion from others, which we spoke about last week. Compassion for others when they make mistakes as well, or when they fail. And then lastly, go all out. So what? You're going to make a mistake. We already know it's happening. You might as well go all out, because we understand we got to be willing to take risks. And when we take risks, we are going to make mistakes. So those are tidbits, words of wisdom. Get out there this week. Do those mental push-ups. And please leave a comment below. What was the greatest mistake you had? What was the greatest learning you had from a mistake? Please share. I'd love to hear from you.